Welcome to the McKinley Diaries, 21 years on with myself, Nigel Vardy. We're now on day 12, the 11th of May, 1999. And my alarm rang at the crack of dawn, well 5 a.m. actually, because we wanted to get that stove on, get that water boiling and get cracking on that couloir. Steve and I peered out of the tent, got the stoves beating away and began the day immediately. We really needed to get going. The sun slowly rose over the south buttress, but by the time it was coming up, we'd already got the tents away and we were preparing. The Americans were also going to be joining us again and had left 500 feet of fixed rope on the couloir. Now, if any of you have ever carried a 50-metre, 166-foot rope, you will know how heavy that is. These guys were packing 500 feet of rope in one length. They left it fixed the day before and just said to us, guys, clip on, go. It's fine, feel free, just get going, which was really nice of them. The only thing is I hate Jumaring or prossicking or whatever you want to use at the time. I know it's safer. I know in certain areas you've got to do it. But basically I just clipped on with the carabiner and just alpined up the side of it. It felt much easier, much more natural, much more open to me. But it's at least slightly safer. 4 hours of battering up the ice with all our tents and gear on our backs saw us at the top of the gully. Much better progress from the day before. There were some particularly tricky icy sections though, and I can remember at times you'd be in snow so deep you could almost bury your entire foot into the face. The next boot you'd be teetering on the tips of your crampons on blue bolt hard ice, and then you'd be back into snow again. It was a really mixed affair, particularly when you've got an 80-litre rucksack on your back full of kit. Your balance is all over the place. Still, we got cracking on, ascended over some what looked to me like a quartz granite style rock, particularly flaky but as sticky as hell when you got a boot on it. It's good. Bit of a climber's paradise. The view from the top of the gully here was just unbelievable. We now started to be able to see over the other mountains of the range, which seemed to just go on forever. Visibility really was that good. Fluffy clouds in the top, in the sky, but very little else. We got to the cache, got the gear out of it, what we needed, moved up as fast as we could and got to the top. It seems Tony was struggling a little bit today. We all have good and bad days. And far below us, we could see the Americans fixing on their lines and trying to come up as well. Obviously, we were much higher than them at the time. We then had to fight over some really tough ground. Very hard, icy, exposed descent on the edge of the ridge here. And as we looked over to the left, we could see the Washbourne route and see lots of other people moving up. As I wrote here, you could see the camps like tiny little dotted villages with lines of ants moving from A to B. At about 6 p.m, we decided that was enough for the day and we found somewhere really excellent to put the camp down that night. Or so we thought. I, as usual, got my big dustpan out, started digging like heck and fell down a crevasse. Thankfully, it wasn't a very deep one. I got back out of the crevasse and dug another hole without a crevasse. That's good. And dug an almighty bunker. I think I've got some pictures of this somewhere. This really was the camp of all camps. And we got a viewpoint way over Mount Foraker, way over the West Buttress. Just stunning. I was really happy with myself in a sort of digging way. Still, 2 hours to dig out, settle down and get sorted. And we were just relaxing and the day's done when we heard a shout and we saw some lights in the darkness. And the Americans were still coming and they'd had a long day and it had gone 10 o'clock at night. We thought they'd probably camp lower. We haven't got a clue. Obviously not. And so we decided to go and help them, frankly. They were having a bit of a time. They'd got off their 500 feet of rope and had to pitch some of it. And it had taken a long time with a group of 4. So basically what we said is, guys, how are we going to help them? And Steve and I got our shovels, started digging another platform out for them to get their tents in, while Tony got loads and loads of brews on to help everybody with a hot drink. And it was only here I've actually noted in my diary what the names were: Barbara, Tony, Steve and Jeff. They looked absolutely exhausted, but were very, very happy. We had lots of smiles, lots of hot drinks, giggles. Left them to it though, because they were tired and so were we, but at least they got somewhere to put their tents. And we retreated back into our own, back into the warmth of the sleeping bag, knowing that we'd done an excellent deed for the day.